Hi, I'm Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. By accessing this presentation, you're inviting me to share this information regarding our passage through this challenging and yet very hopeful time we're currently living in. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of December 7th, 2011, which is One Ahau in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. And we'll also be discussing the Gemini full moon lunar eclipse and both Mercury and Uranus turning direct. December 7th is One Ahau, or Sun, Light Lord, and it carries the themes of honoring the ancestors, flowers, light, ascension, co-creation, unconditional love, enlightenment, opening up to new possibilities and beginnings, wholeness, awakening to miracles. I really love that flowers is one of the symbols for Ahau because I'm a yoga teacher for many years, and the name Patanjali, who's the author of the Yoga Sutras, means one who casts flowers through time, which is kind of a quality of Ahau, is the ancestors who cast their wisdom through time. Ahau is considered to be one of the most sacred days because life would not exist on the earth without the warmth and light of the sun. Being both a wave and a particle, light transcends form. This 13-day period is about shining light on any uncertainty and honoring our ancestors and taking time to purify our light, heal our spirits, and the Mother Earth. Astrologically, the one sun trecena begins with Uranus at 0 degrees Aries as it slows down in its reverse motion and stops and begins moving forward again on December 10th. And when a planet appears stopped, it's said to be at the peak of its power. Uranus has now returned to the position it was in March of this year. And being the planet of disruption and chaos, when Uranus is in power, we experience rapid and unexpected change. And if you think back to March, we had the earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear crisis in Japan. We had the beginning of the war in Libya. There was an earthquake in New Zealand. The sudden passing of many influential people, revolutions breaking out in the Middle East, and the 14th Dalai Lama stepped down as the head of state for the Central Tibetan administration, citing that we had now moved into a time when we no longer needed leaders. So during this 13-day period, it's time to expect the unexpected. December 7th is One Sun, or One Ahau, which is unity that's experienced through wisdom of the ancestors. And with the moon being supported by Venus and Mars, this creates a grand trine in the earth signs and gives a sense of grounded comfort. The 8th is Two Crocodile, which is duality through nurturing new beginnings. And with the moon being challenged by Neptune and stimulated by Uranus, this brings a day of daydreaming and pleasant yet restless feelings. December 9th is Three Wind, which is movement created through communications. With the moon being opposed by Mercury and challenged by Mars, this brings conflict between emotions and reason, which may lead to irritability. The 10th is Four Night, which is stability through contemplating the stars. And with the Gemini full moon lunar eclipse creating tension between our ego and our emotions, and with Mars challenging them both, this is a time of emotional issues and challenging circumstances. And with Uranus turning direct, this brings the energy of upheaval and rapid unexpected change to be integrated as we move into our new future, being the new moon. The eclipse will be visible throughout most of Europe, Eastern Africa, Asia, Australia, the Pacific Ocean, and North America. December 11th is 5 Seed, empowerment through planting new seeds, with the moon supported by Saturn and Neptune, challenged by Uranus, stimulated by Jupiter, and opposed by Pluto. Emotions can shift from stable and dreamy to rebellious to congenial, leading to profound insights. The 12th is Sixth Serpent, which is being in the flow by remaining flexible, with Ceres being challenged by the Sun and stimulated by Venus. This brings a focus on taking care of our bodies. December 13th is 7 transformation, which is reflection through releasing the past. And Mercury turns direct and begins the third stage until New Year's Day, 2012, to implement a new course correction that we've become aware of from the information that we gathered during the first stage, which is here, which happened from November 5th to November 24th, and the experiences that we had when it was retrograde and moved backwards from November 24th until December 13th. Okay, so during that time period, we had information, and then we had experiences that gave us a sense of how we need to alter what's going on in our life to move more in our authentic direction. The 14th is 8 Deer, which is balance through being in the service of others. And it's a night to check out the Geminid meteor showers, which are multicolored meteor showers, and you'll be able to see them coming out of localized around the Gemini constellation. December 15th is 9 Star, which is patience in receiving abundance in relationships. And with the moon being supported by the sun and Jupiter and stimulated by Saturn and opposed by Neptune, this is another day with emotions ranging from feeling sensitive to lonely to feeling pleasant. The 16th is 10 Offering, which is manifestation through offering appreciation for all creation. With the moon being challenged by Mercury and supported by Pluto, it's a day of critical communication and intense emotions. December 17th is 11 Dog, which is resolutions created with family and friends, and with the third quarter moon merging with Mars and supported by Venus. This starts off challenging, but turns better as the day goes on. The 18th is 12 Monkey, which is understanding, experience through the beginning something new with Venus being challenged by Saturn. This could be a day when people evaluate their relationships. December 19th is 13 Road, which is moving to the next level through helping in your community. With the sun being stimulated by Saturn, there's great energy for getting things done with an orderly mind and a strong sense of discipline. As you may know, I live in the woods of Maine in the USA, and I live at the end of a dirt road, and across the way there's an uninhabited farm. And one of my pleasures in life is going out and watching the night sky from one of the open fields at the farm. And on an October night during the 1 Star Trecena, I was out in the field looking at the moon. And 1 Star is also called 1 Rabbit, which Native Americans and Chinese see a rabbit in the moon, and which I've seen many times. So I was looking at the moon to see the rabbit, and I realized I couldn't find it. So I started looking at for the man in the moon that I've been looking at and seeing from all my life, only to realize that for the first time ever, I was seeing a completely different angle of the face of the moon. It was a short time after that I spoke to a friend who also enjoys looking at the night sky about my experience, and he reported that he had the same experience and asked me if I was aware of the writer John Lamb Lash, to which I responded that I was beginning to read Lash's book, Not in His Image, Gnostic Vision, Sacred Ecology, and the Future of Belief, which is about the Gaia Sophia mythos, which is an open-ended story about the creation and capture of Gaia, our organic planet in our inorganic solar system. In the story, the Earth and all of her life forms are the dream of Sophia, the wisdom goddess, which is similar to Hindu cosmology, where the universe is the dream of Vishnu. My friend told me that Lash had expressed in interviews that Gaia had awakened into a lucid dream state last March and had begun to move through space under her own power. And this shift had resulted in the Earth moving off its orbit around the sun, with a number of anomalies being reported, such as the inner Earth ringing, which has been documented in a YouTube video of a spirit cave in Tibet, the sun rising in Greenland 2 days early after being below the horizon during the winter season, and the crescent moon had shifted to more of a vertical C shape as before it normally was aligned more of on its side. And the last thing he mentioned was that the face of the moon had changed and that we were actually looking at a different face of the moon. So anyway, I became aware of John Lash from reading Barbara Hand Clow's Astroflash, New Moon, and Seasonal articles. And in Barbara Hand Clow's Sagittarius New Moon article, which is the most recent, she reported that she will be complete with tropical astrology and Astroflash at the end of this month, citing that she felt limited by astrology because it does not read the influence of stars. And when I read her reason, I immediately felt like astrology using data from an ephemeris would no longer be a tool of value in the if the Earth's movements became less predictable, because its relationships to the rest of the planets would also become less predictable, which brought me to think about what other forms of knowledge would still be available for guidance to the energies that influence us, since the Earth, moving under her own power, would render all systems based on predictable planetary transits useless. I mean, I think astrology and human design would still continue to be helpful in understanding ourselves from our birth or natal information. And John Lash, who's also an astrologer, has been doing some very accurate predicting events based on the apogee and perigee of the moon as they relate to the stars. But I also was thinking, what other systems are available that give us information about the energies that are influencing us? And one thing I think is also value is if you go outside and you observe the night sky and you learn the constellations and you begin aware of the planets, then you can actually use the planets to get a sense of cosmic energies that are currently influencing our experience. I also feel that the Tzolkin, which is that 260-day Mayan calendar that I use in this report, which is roughly about the same amount of time of a human gestation, I believe that the Tzolkin represents sort of a natural human rhythm that stays consistent no matter where your location is. And in Barbara Hand Clow's book, The Alchemy in 9 Dimensions, she reported that the Pleiadians had instructed her that the time codes that are emitted from the 9th dimension, which is the galactic core of our galaxy, those time codes were called Tzolkin. So I believe that the Tzolkin would still be a very valuable tool if the Earth was changing and moving off of the orbit that we've been in, since we've been aware of this stuff. So what does this all mean? I'm not really sure, but I figured with the Gemini full moon lunar eclipse, folks would be out looking at the moon during this report period. So I encourage you to go out, check it out. Don't take my word for it. Does the moon look the same as it did the last time you really studied it? And no matter what you find, take some time to be in the flow with the planet by being in nature and watching the sunrise or the sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or being with somebody you love. Every single day we have is a blessing, no matter what dramas beckon to distract us. We are here giving the performance of a lifetime on this world stage. But just take some time out to observe the play as well as act your part. Remember that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on December 20th for one read, the Capricorn New Moon and Jupiter turning direct. And so at that point, all the planets will be direct for, I believe, at least a month. You can always check out these reports and on Facebook and on YouTube. And I invite you to email me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions about all this stuff I'm talking about in the report. Or if you want a reading, I do readings in human design, astrology, tarot, and also Mayan Tzolkin. So if there's some way I can serve you, I would like to. Anyway, as always, it truly is a blessing for me that you've taken the time out to connect with what I'm putting out here. And I'm really very, very touched and blessed by every single one of you. Anyway, as I've said before, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.